crossing was easier and smoother. But that might be lower maintenance the way they've got it set up now for them. When you are out, try to practice the tread lightly principles. You know, don't go zipping along at 50 miles per hour on these roads. Not only is it a safety concern, but it also tears up the roads. Right now we are on private property, so realize that the property owners, if they wanted to make sure that people slow down, could put gates on here every 100 feet. And make our lives fairly miserable on opening and closing gates. So just respect their property. Come out here, enjoy the scenery. Tree-lined drive with aspens. Not very much pine beetle damage in this area yet. Hopefully it stays that way. Straight ahead of us is one of the two cones of the twin cone. The Twin Cone Trail, it actually leads up to a communications tower. Running 37-inch tires on my Jeep right now, but I still have stock gearing. So I may go to 4 low just to make up for my gearing. Again, make sure you close those gates behind you. Those are for private property gates. When you're out on public land that might be used for public lands that might be used for grazing cattle or such, the general rule is leave the gate as you find it. So sometimes just for range management they want those gates open, other times they want them closed to get animals to move through in different patterns and all that good stuff. So leave them as you find them. Did mention it's July 3rd, it's 2016. It's about 8:30 in the morning. This is a pretty popular trail with a lot of clubs, so you will see a lot of traffic on this. Usually the clubs don't meet up until 9 a.m. or so, so I like coming out early when the trails are a little bit quieter. Turn on our one of many switchbacks here, so we're gonna get some pretty good elevation gain. Again, this is pretty easily passable by any four-wheel drive vehicle, most likely. And even most all-wheel drive vehicles. It can be a little bit trickier if it's very wet, and there are sections towards the top, towards the very top, past several obstacles that when wet it can be a very difficult hill climb, but this part's still pretty easy, pretty tame. Lots of little ground squirrels running around this morning. Been on this trail a time or two where it can get a little tricky if boulders come downhill and kind of block part of the trail, so it's a little bit harder to sneak around or over that boulder, but usually those get cleared out pretty quickly. But that could certainly block access for some of the less capable. vehicles out there. Little ground squirrels and chipmunks don't want to move today. Some of them scamper off, but some of them sit right in front of the road until you're right on them. Fahrenheit where we are now. It is still early in the morning, but it still does get pretty cold up here at night, even in July. It'll definitely warm up as the day goes on. Could easily get up into the 80s or even the 90s up here. And I'm hoping, having waited until July to try this trail, that it is open all the way. Oftentimes, even in June and certainly in May, there'll still be a lot of snow on this trail. This one does open up a little bit earlier than some of the others because a lot of the area further up is fairly exposed, so the sun can help melt everything off. if you are coming up here and say a crossover style vehicle or more of a daily driver, so like a Kia 4-wheel drive sort of vehicle, or maybe a Subaru Outback or one of those, you have to be a little bit more careful with your tire placement, since some of those obviously don't have as much clearance. Generally speaking, a lot of people try to avoid rocks, which is kind of the opposite of what you want to do. You don't want to try to straddle a rock. You tend to want to put your tires over the top of it, so you do go over it. Your better clearance is going to be on the sides of your vehicles rather than right down the middle. Right down the middle is usually where you've got the lowest amount of clearance, and also usually your most vital components, things like your